The doorbell rang at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, which was unusual enough. We rarely got deliveries that late in the afternoon. I wiped my hands on my apron. I'd been kneading dough for tomorrow's bread and hurried to the door. A courier stood there with a medium-sized box, brown and unremarkable except for the name scrawled across the top in thick black marker, Marcus Chen, my son's name. "Sign here, please," the courier said, thrusting an electronic tablet at me. I signed without thinking, my mind already elsewhere. Marcus had left 2 weeks ago for what he'd called an extended work trip to Denver. He was a software consultant, always jetting off to some client site or another. This trip, he'd said, might last a month, maybe longer. "Thanks," I muttered, taking the box. It was heavier than I expected. I set it on the kitchen counter and stared at it. The return address was local, from right here in Seattle, from an address on Capitol Hill I didn't recognize. Why would someone send Marcus a package here when he was in Denver, and why hadn't he mentioned it? I texted him, "Package arrived for you, want me to open it?" No response, but that wasn't unusual. Marcus often went dark during intensive work sprints, sometimes not checking his phone for hours. The box sat there through dinner, through my evening routine, through the late-night talk show I half-watched while folding laundry. By 11 p.m., curiosity had morphed into something darker, a gnawing anxiety I couldn't name. I opened it. Inside, carefully wrapped in bubble wrap, were Marcus's things. His things from his apartment. I recognized them immediately. The ceramic mug I'd given him for his birthday 3 years ago, the one with the terrible pun about programmers. His favorite hoodie, the gray one with the coffee stain on the left sleeve he'd never managed to remove. A framed photo of us at his college graduation, his arm around my shoulders, both of us grinning like idiots. My hands shook as I dug deeper. His laptop charger, a stack of mail addressed to him at his apartment address. His spare keys, a worn paperback of Dune he'd read at least 5 times, the small succulent plant I'd given him when he first moved out, somehow still alive despite his notorious black thumb. At the very bottom, an envelope with my name on it. I sat down hard on one of the kitchen chairs, my legs suddenly unable to support me. The envelope was sealed, the handwriting unmistakably Marcus's, rushed, slanted, the way he wrote when he was emotional or in a hurry. My heart hammered against my ribs. Something was very wrong. I opened it with trembling fingers. "Mom, I'm so sorry you had to find out this way. I couldn't tell you in person. I tried a dozen times and couldn't find the words. I'm not in Denver. I'm not on a work trip. I haven't been to Denver in over a year. I lost my job 4 months ago. The company downsized and I was part of the cut. They called it restructuring. 20 of us got the news on a Friday afternoon via Zoom call. Just like that, 7 years with the company gone. I've been applying everywhere, Mom, hundreds of resumes. I've tailored cover letters until my eyes crossed. I've networked until I wanted to scream. But the market's brutal right now. Every posting gets 500 applications. Every interview ends with "we'll be in touch" and then silence. I couldn't afford my apartment anymore. 2 months ago, I had to break my lease. I've been staying with my friend Jake on Capitol Hill, sleeping on his couch. Jake's been incredibly patient, but I can't impose on him forever. His girlfriend is moving in next month and there's just no room. I asked him to pack up my stuff and send it to you because I'm leaving Seattle. I'm leaving today. I'm moving to Austin. My friend Ryan from college says there's more opportunity there, says he can get me an interview with his company, maybe some freelance work to start. It's not much, but it's something. It's more than I have here. I couldn't tell you because I know you, Mom. I know you would have insisted on helping. You would have offered money we both know you don't have. You're still paying off the medical bills from Dad's treatment and you're working 2 jobs as it is. I see how tired you are when we have lunch. I see the worry lines that weren't there 2 years ago. I couldn't add my failures to your burden. I couldn't be one more thing you had to worry about, one more problem you had to solve. I needed to figure this out on my own. I needed to be an adult to handle my own problems without running to my mom every time things got hard. Dad always said a man takes care of his own troubles. I know he didn't mean it the way it sounded, but I can't shake that voice in my head. The last few months have been the hardest of my life. I've questioned everything, my choices, my abilities, my worth. There were days I didn't leave Jake's couch except to go to job interviews that led nowhere. Days I couldn't bring myself to open my laptop and face another rejection email. But I'm not giving up. This move to Austin feels like a new start, like maybe I can rebuild from scratch somewhere nobody knows me as the guy who couldn't keep his job. By the time you read this, I'll already be on the road. My car's packed with everything that didn't fit in that box. I'll call you when I'm settled. I promise I'm okay. I promise I'll be okay. I love you more than I know how to say. I'm sorry for lying. I'm sorry for shutting you out. I'm sorry for not being the son you deserve. Marcus. The letter fluttered from my fingers to the table. 4 months? He'd been struggling, drowning for 4 months and hadn't said a word. All those cheerful phone calls, all those texts about work being busy and demanding, all those elaborate stories about difficult clients and tight deadlines, all of it a carefully constructed fiction to keep me from worrying. I thought about the last time I'd seen him 6 weeks ago. We'd met for brunch at that place he liked in Fremont, the one with the outdoor seating and overpriced avocado toast. He'd seemed tired, maybe a little thin, but he'd smiled and laughed and told me about a big project he was working on. He'd even paid for brunch, insisting when I tried to split the bill. How much had that cost him? Money he didn't have, spent to maintain the illusion that everything was fine. What kind of mother doesn't notice her own child is drowning? I picked up my phone and called him. It rang 4 times, then went to voicemail. Marcus, honey, I got the package. Please call me back. Please, I'm not angry. I need to know you're okay. Call me. I tried again and again, each time voicemail. Panic set in. Where was he? Was he driving? Was he safe? My mind conjured worst-case scenarios, accidents, breakdowns, my son alone and struggling on some dark highway. I texted, please just let me know you're safe. One word, that's all I need. Nothing. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the kitchen table, surrounded by the remnants of Marcus's apartment, and waited for dawn. I went through the box again, touching each item like a talisman. The mug, the hoodie, the photo, each one a piece of the son I thought I knew, the life I thought he was living. I found other things as I dug deeper, past due notices he'd hidden at the bottom. A journal I knew I shouldn't read but did anyway, scanning pages filled with anxiety and self-recrimination. Not good enough, he'd written over and over. What's wrong with me? My heart shattered. At 6:15 a.m., my phone finally rang. I grabbed it so fast I nearly dropped it. Mom, his voice was thick, hoarse. He'd been crying. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Where are you? I tried to keep my voice steady. Rest stop outside Boise. I couldn't keep driving. I pulled over around midnight and I've just been sitting here, too scared to call you back. Are you safe? Yeah, I'm safe. I took a breath, gathering every ounce of composure I had. Marcus, listen to me. I'm not angry. I'm not disappointed. I'm heartbroken that you felt like you had to handle this alone, that you thought you couldn't come to me, but I understand why you did it. You were trying to protect me. I failed, Mom. His voice cracked. I lost my job. I lost my apartment. I've been lying to you for months. I'm 29 years old and I couldn't even keep my life together. You didn't fail. You hit a rough patch in an impossible economy. That's not the same thing. I looked at the graduation photo on the table, at our younger, hopeful faces. You're my son. Your problems are my problems, not because you're a burden, but because that's what family means. We carry things together. That's what your father would have wanted. That's what I want. He was quiet for a long moment. I could hear him breathing, trying to compose himself. What do I do now? You get some rest at that rest stop. You eat something. Then you drive safe to Austin and you take that interview with Ryan. And Marcus, you call me every single day so I know you're okay. Not to report in, not out of obligation, but because I need to know my son is all right. Can you do that? Yeah, he whispered. Yeah, I can do that. And when you get settled, I'm coming to visit. We're going to have a very long conversation about communication and trust and letting people who love you actually help you. About what it really means to be an adult, which includes knowing when to ask for help. Okay, his voice was steadier now. Mom, I really am sorry. I know, sweetheart, but you're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I love you. I love you too, Marcus, so much. Now get some rest. After we hung up, I made coffee and started going through the box again, this time sorting what he'd need me to ship to Texas and what I'd keep here. The bread dough had overproofed on the counter overnight, unusable now, but I'd make more. There was always time for another batch. I called my sister and told her everything. Then I called Marcus's friend Jake and thanked him for being there when I couldn't be. I started a list of things to send: warm clothes for Texas winters that weren't as cold as Seattle's but still required something, gift cards for groceries, a care package. The sun rose over the Seattle skyline, painting everything gold and pink. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus: at a diner, having breakfast, talk to Ryan, interview is Thursday, thank you for not hatting me. I typed back: impossible, you're my son, call me tonight. He sent back a heart emoji. It wasn't much, but it was a start. We'd find our way back to each other, one phone call, one honest conversation at a time. The lies were over. Now came the harder work of truth. But we'd do it together. That's what family meant.